Das war's. Das war erst die Ruhe vor dem Sturm.
Hey, what is up, y'all? Steve MissionUber, the YouTube channel that documents my journey as I drive down the debt while having a little fun driving Uber as I do it. Thank you, Mr. Dave Ramsey, for the inspiration. Are you in debt? I know you are. I know you are. You're watching this video for whatever reason, but listen to me now. You're in debt, and there's nothing worse. Well, there's plenty of things worse than being in debt. I suppose, like, I don't know, laying down in a bed of red ants probably is worse than being in debt. But if you're in debt and you're like me and you want to get out of debt, man, there's just some simple things that you have to start doing right now to start getting out of debt. You hear me talk about Dave Ramsey all the time. That's the guy that I went to finally learn what debt was about, how it was controlling my life, and what I could do about it. And it begins with a mindset. And the mindset, again, is you do not want to be in debt. Because it's like slavery. It is actually not like slavery. It is slavery. I implore you to go check out Dave Ramsey, maybe even pay for one of his classes. They can change your life when it comes to finances and beyond, quite honestly. I want to go over a few simple steps that you need to take to begin the process of getting out of debt. Number one, you have to, and I already said it, change your mindset. You have to say to yourself, this is not good for me. This is not something that I want to have in my life. And so you have to start to change your heart and your mind about debt. You can no longer say, well, I'll just put this on a credit card and I'll pay it later, or I really want this whatever appliance or clothes or bedroom set, so I'm just gonna put it on a credit card and I'll pay it off. How great, I only have to pay $15 a month. That's great. That's fantastic. The mindset of want it now has got to change. You have to realize that if you can't afford to buy something with cash, then you shouldn't buy it. So the mindset's got to change. There's a whole lot more to that psychology, but I'm going to save it for maybe another video. Once you get that mindset and you start to change how you perceive debt, and you really want to start working on getting out of your debt, here's the things that you have to do. You have to start to cut away expenses that you have that you don't need. You know what I'm talking about. You got to go through the list and find out the things that you can cut. So you got to cut back to the bare minimum. And that includes cutting cable or not having those big birthday parties for your kids that you have where you rent out a place to throw the party. Mindset, and then cutting back. Number 3 is you have to stop using your credit cards completely. And in fact, a good thing to do is to cut them up. Do not use any more credit cards at all. You say, well, I need to save one at least for an emergency. That is debatable, but it is better just not to have any credit cards anywhere near you at all. So cutting them up is a great way to do it. Now, there is a reason to kind of hold on to the actual physical credit card, and I'll tell you that in a second. Step number 4, as Dave Ramsey will say, is you have to save $1,000 in an emergency fund. Once you save $1,000 in your emergency fund, you'll have something there in the event something happens. I've had to dip into my emergency fund more often than I would like to say. In fact, just recently my boiler went out.
Das war erst die Ruhe vor dem Sturm.
That cost me $1,600. It just so happens that I had $1,600 in my emergency fund. And then 2 weeks later, I went to get my truck inspected and the frame is cracked. So I went to the welder to find out how much it would cost to get the frame welded, and it's going to be $1,000. And I don't quite have the $1,000 back into my emergency fund, but thankfully I have some money saved in some other areas, which basically equates to an emergency fund. So I'll be paying another $1,000 to get my truck frame welded so I can get it inspected and get it back on the road. Emergency fund is the fourth step. And then the fifth step, and there's many more, is you start paying off your debt. And you start paying it off from the smallest to the largest. Let's say you have 3 credit cards. And one credit card you owe $350 on. The second credit card you owe $1,600 on. And the third credit card you owe $5,000 on. You start with the smallest balance, regardless of what the interest rate is. This is all about momentum. This is all about the mindset of achievement, and it will take probably a week to pay the $350 credit card off first, right? Maybe a month, depending on your situation. When you pay that off and you no longer have that credit card, it inspires you to attack the next credit card with the next lowest balance. Now, what's cool is when you pay off those credit cards, remember I said that you don't necessarily have to cut them up right away? When you do pay them off, then get the scissors out and then cut them up. It's really a cool feeling when you get rid of that credit card and never, ever want to go back to charging things again. So those are 5 steps that I wanted to share with you. There's a whole lot more to this whole strategy of getting out of debt. I highly suggest again that you go to the Dave Ramsey website. It's in my description below, the link where you can go. And man, when you start moving in the right direction when it comes to your finances, your stress will just melt. It'll melt like a vanilla ice cream in the hot California sun. You can't believe like how much stress you have when you're in debt. You probably feel stressed, but you don't realize how much you have until you start paying off your debt. It is absolutely amazing. And then the next part of your journey comes when you're out of debt and you can start building some wealth. And that is also a whole another video that I can do at another time. I'm not even there yet. I'm still on baby step 1. Dave Ramsey calls them baby steps.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Oh boy.
And man, it is definitely a baby step for me from one point to another. My baby steps now are getting money back into my emergency fund because it's been depleted by cracked truck frames and broken down boilers. Anyway, that's the video for this week. I really hope you guys got something out of it. This is the direction my channel is going. It's hoping to inspire you. I'd love to hear about your journey, like where you are and what you're doing, specifically when it comes to driving for Uber or Lyft or Point Pickup or Instacart, which, by the way, I signed up for Instacart and I'll be doing one of my first Instacart deliveries here pretty soon. I hope you check it out. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, give the video a thumbs up, please, a little bit of a thumbs up, and comment below because you know I'd love to hear from you. For now, this is Steve with MissionUber.